We'll also, sorry. We're also just really interested to see how impactful and useful the last session was, and also the resources. So yeah, if you have any comments about that along the way, please do throw that in. And yeah, we're really looking forward to hearing what you've been doing. Yeah, do you want to say hi, Ursula?
I think I'm just going to say hi. Nice to see you again in the middle of the summer, and excited for the shoot. Shoots are very useful, and I'm sure this one will be amazing. So thanks, Mercedes, for arranging it all as always. And that's it. Really, really looking forward to seeing what you've done. To me, the last session was really exciting. So I'm just curious. So let's get on with it.
So we're starting with Adeline.
Okay, guys. Yes. So we're starting with Adeline. So please, if you could present your collection as Tamsin mentioned, results of the collection, and also eventually explain us what has been potentially improved, or if any change in your practice, or in your thinking, on in the driving force behind your sustainability within when we spoke first and now, but mostly just give us an overview of what is happening and how it's been developing. Okay, so we're going to go from the order that we put on the agenda. Thanks. So
okay,
Adeline, now it's your turn. You got 15 minutes, please. If everybody else could switch off their video and their microphone. Thank you.
okay. Alors, it's presentation PDF. Yeah, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And reflection for this collection, I choose about these different points. Working with upcycling and collecting, using natural materials, dyeing with natural dye. I work with favorite local craftsmen or artists. I like this craftsmanship, communicate with transparency, where the recovered pieces come from, what dye, the how of work, who made it. Yes, and look selected sustainable. All my collection is created with recycled or glue materials. I have chosen to present you this look, which is made of an oversized shirt created with 5 linen tablecloths recovered from different vintage shops in Paris. The tablecloths are naturally dyed with mirobolant and gold. It was made by the craftswoman Caroline Duchel. The jean patchwork created with different denim, both in vintage shop, then dyed with mirobolant, gold, and garance. They were first cut into abstract shapes and the embroidered together to create my material. The trouser and clothes with jeweled button made of recycled chain. These are created by Atelier Aymeric Lodin in Paris. The jewels are made up of different brushes and chain recovered and modified with an extinguish to create large brushes. The shoes are vintage pieces. Yeah, and yeah. it's a differently picture, the details. It's dye on the patchwork. For this collection, for this collection, I have emphasized the artisanal aspect, but is I think about a potential brand. I would like to create two range of products. First range, unique pieces which would be handmade, with the clothes would be made on demand. They would be a bit different from each other. They would have the same design with small differences in color or material. For the purchase of material, I would continue to upcycle, always in flea markets, but also at vintage wool sellers, which would allow me to have lots of similar pieces. It is important to put forward the crafts in the communication. This allows to create an added value to the difference. I would like to continue to work with local craftsmen or myself. The second range, ready-to-wear pieces created with organic and local material, France and Switzerland. Then I would work with ethical European manufacturers who could make small series of pieces for me. What is essential for me, my potential brand, is to remain a woman-sized brand. This allows me to have a more global vision and to have human relation with the people I would work with. Sorry. And lineup, sorry. Here is my progress on my collection. Lineup and different looks. Differently embroidery, sorry, dye, patchwork, and embroidery button. And look, Chloe, with upcycling, yeah, and Chanel. Yes, it's okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's finished. Sorry.
Great. Adeline, before I say anything, I have to tell you that the material of those trousers is amazing. How you've stitched that denim is really, really, really interesting. And I also wanted to say that all that you describe around your brand is both possible and doable. And that, you know, I love how you described it as human-sized brand. I think that's really, really lovely. And I think you're choosing your materials really well. And I can imagine elements of this collection being really reproducible, exactly as you say. Each collection is the same, but each piece is unique. So I think there's a lot of potential in terms of making this both, you know, very couture, but also upscaling it to another level. And that material is really, really brilliant. I love the tablecloth as well, but the jeans, how you've embroidered them and put and stuck them together is really lovely, because it can look quite heavy, but in this case it doesn't.
Sorry, it's a problem in the traduction.
So can you translate?
Sorry.
I could try. Ben, il te vient de dire beaucoup de bonnes choses. Ursula a dit qu'elle aime beaucoup la façon que la solution que tu as adoptée pour le denim. Elle trouve que c'est très intéressant, mais même très reproducible. Je ne sais pas le mot en français. Reproducible.
Oui.
Et en plus, elle dit que ce que c'est intéressant, c'est que c'est normalement on expecte que ça pouvait être un peu lourd, un peu heavy, mais là, elle vient de très fin, très légère, très free.
Okay.
Alors, en plus, elle a dit qu'elle aime beaucoup les autres matériaux et je crois la chose plus importante, c'est que elle vient de dire qu'elle trouve que toutes les solutions que tu as adoptées, they are all scalable. C'est des solutions qu'on peut adopter dans un niveau artisanal, stroke industriel. C'est-à-dire que vraiment, il y a de bons pensements behind your collection. Et elle pense que c'est la solution de faire une collection que c'est human scale, mais en même temps c'est reproducible, c'est très intéressant et it's a winner basically. It's a not a winner meaning that you want, but it's a winner. It's a nice solution. Everything tout rassemble que ça pourrait être reproduit.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Et also, Adeline, quand tu es à ces moments, on a les connexions in Europe. There's some beautiful factory, particularly one in Portugal, who they work very closely with upcyclists. So when we get to that stage, we can also introduce you to a really brilliant factory that would understand you.
On a fait un cycle de mentoring pour des maisons, des designers qui font le Berlin Fashion Week.
Okay.
Et on l'a présenté. Il y a mais ça c'est une autre conversation, mais c'est ce que tu fais, c'est très intéressant.
Okay, thank you.
Merci. Tabs, you got any questions or any feedback?
Yeah. Hi, Adeline. Really beautiful collection. And I like the way that the techniques and the sourcing of materials that you've used for this look are, you know, it's the way that you work. It's not just one look. It translates into the rest of the collection. Sorry, Filippo, can you help?
Oui, bien, elle a dit plus ou moins qu'est-ce qu'Ursula avait dit. Elle aime beaucoup la collection et en plus, Tamzin a ajouté que c'est très intéressant que tu n'as pas seulement trouvé des solutions pour only one look, mais tu as appliqué des solutions dans des autres looks dans la collection.
And I have two questions. One is why did Adeline choose to use such small pieces of denim for the jeans? Was it because she had small scraps, or was it so that she could create this kind of mosaic effect?
Okay. Adeline, tu as compris ça?
J'ai compris que c'était sur le jean, mais...
Elle a demandé pourquoi tu as utilisé les pièces, ils sont assez petits, very small. Ça, c'était pourquoi parce que tu avais petites pièces, c'était une solution technique, ou c'est que tu as décidé que tu voulais faire un patchwork avec de petites pièces et c'est une solution esthétique?
Just aesthetic. Yeah.
Just aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Okay, so-
Okay, great. And on the natural dye, sorry, I can't read the text. What's it dyed with?
Qu'est-ce que tu as utilisé pour le dyeing process, pour les couleurs? Quel matériau, comment est-ce que tu as originé le dyeing process? Je ne sais pas comment on dit ça en français.
Comment j'ai trouvé?
Non, qu'est-ce que tu as utilisé
Qu'est-ce que j'ai...
comme matière base pour les couleurs?
Ok. With mirobolant and gold or reseda. And
And
C'est
go.
quoi?
Okay.
it's
Okay.
differently plant.
OK. Adeline, est-ce que tu peux nous envoyer la présentation que tu as fait, le PDF?
Yeah.
Est-ce que tu peux envoyer ça to Ursula at Fashion Revolution and Filippo at Fashion? Moi je vais mettre les emails dans la chat.
Ok. Et j'envoie maintenant?
Moi, quand tu veux. Pas maintenant, quand on a fini.
Ok. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adeline.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, who's next?
So the next one, it's Laima and Marta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We will. Hello. We will
Hi.
share the screen. Okay. Yes, as you already are familiar with our concept, so we just will skip the story and go straight to the sustainable look. So yes, the idea that the look represents two systems and consists of 3 layers. The upper layer is a huge ill-fitting coat that stands for the Soviet, and the upper layer is a coat created from the fabric scraps, which is the leftovers from all the collection materials, just cottons, and stands for the new capitalism. So,
okay, so to explain a little bit more what we mean with it, is that the big coat, like the undercoat, it kind of represents like something which was cool before, like in the Soviet times, and in fact also in Western society, which is a fur coat. But in this case, we have exaggerated it, and also to make it really bold, like a statement. At the same time, we do not make it from recycled fur. We don't want to appear actual fur in the collection, but this is like ecopel, the faux fur, and yeah, it's like this vegan wool, and we wanted to make it from today's materials, but still to have this idea of the fur coat. Then the upper layer, perhaps you remember that we had this experiment with found materials like photo films and stickers. And we actually made this coat, but we found out that, like, from design point of view, we are not really satisfied with it. It had to represent this capitalism, waste and overproduction. And then we were thinking, like, what could be instead of this to represent like these times? And then we found this idea that we can make this upper coat from entirely and exclusively from the scraps of the cotton that we have already from the collection, like, which is kind of like just leftovers. And Laima has made amazing work to join like and like a huge amount of these little scrap pieces. We will show you the exact piece.
You can see it's here in our background. So yes, we decided just to take only cottons, so to make it more sustainable, not to mixing with the polyesters or other fibers. So there are this jacket made from 3 kind of cottons, which make this maybe different, even in the same print, they're seen different colors, and which made this vest more bold and more detailing. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this process. And actually, this is one thing I do already in my practice as for my brand. And yeah, so as we know that these graphical material are so valuable and it's unique, so don't want to waste like any piece of it. So that's why I think we think that it's very important to use all this material and present it in our collection. And also all this process is really exciting and enjoyable, because when I started to put all these small pieces together, I even didn't know what will come out of this. And so yeah, I really love to work in this kind of technique, and I think I will definitely keep this in my future practice to make some garments also from other leftovers from fabrics of collection.
Also, I just said that in this case, it's you can see that also the graphics are very how to say, like supportive of this kind of technique, because in real life you cannot at times distinguish where is a graphical break and where is a fabric break. So it really makes like a double collage. It makes a collage from the graphics, and it makes collage from this from the fabrics. Okay, and so this upper layer now, from the concept point of view, stands like for the new capitalism, as we call it, where it is still like this consumerism culture, but it's with a kind of better consideration of nature issues. And there is, like in this upper west, there is no specially produced material used.
Yeah. Yes, and as well as we sourced from this huge coat, also the sustainable material to look through the EcoPel provided Canapa vegan wool, yeah, from Peltex. So it's also, as we read the concept of this material, it's completely sustainable and organic. So yeah.
A little bit more about this material, because I'm always very concerned with fake fur. Because fake fur does tend to come from synthetic sources. And
yes, this is not from synthetics. As we read in the concept, it's made from also like leftovers from the vegetables, and also adding cotton. So there is no synthetic fibers in this particular vegan.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's why we choose exactly this one. It actually was hard to find it, because mostly, as you say, yeah, mostly there is synthetic fiber vegan wool, but this one we were really lucky to find out that this one is so special. And
you would share the link with the community around, you know, with
okay.
design, because obviously, you know, many people are anti-fur, and there's so much innovation happening. Another one is coming from a company called Stife, who make the teddy bears, and you know, I know we discussed this previously with I can't remember now who, one of you guys anyway, with the big teddy bears and the big animals. But so yeah, that's important. I really love how you've solutionized the patchwork.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I think, you know, having done this kind of patchwork myself, and how, you know, telling people to do it, I think it's, you become, trust me, you become much faster at it, and understanding how they go one next to the other, and you can make it as a material. We often used when we had support and help, we often had people just collect all of the patchworks, put them in bags, and then start sewing them into materials, and it becomes easier, and it really works. So I commend you for looking at both the solutions. So I'm assuming that you didn't want to use recycled or upcycled fur, real fur, because of your own ethos of not having animals. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and maybe we can go also through other looks of collection, just to see through everything. So this was the first look. We also sent it to the festival from the start. We decided to keep this look the way it is, this one. And for this look are different kind of used materials. And yes, all fabrics, as we told before, are digitally printed. And we use the company locally founded in Riga in Latvia. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive than maybe ordered from China, but still I think it's more sustainable to work with printing company who have all these certificates, and they are locally made. Yes, and also all the headpieces is like from this cycled Soviet motorcycle helmets. Yes, for this one, this was still in the sketch because it's not finished. Because we decided to develop this look. At the first, this huge jacket was made from the polyester, but then as this festival provides us the opportunity to collaborate with a printing company called Punta Seta, and they have sent us the fabric samples, and they have more wider opportunities by choosing cottons for the coats and etc. So yes, we decided to develop this collection by using better materials and also a little bit developing the shapes, and as well as all the buttons. Also, we collaborate with Atelier Aymeric in Paris to create all the furniture, buttons, and everything else. And for this one look, it's also, we decided to leave as it is. It's all made, yes, it's from the polyester, but still it's like functional, because this jacket is also like water resistant. And I think, yes, maybe it's not very good to use a lot of polyester, but still in some cases the polyester also needs to be used for its functions. And the sustainability of this one will be that this coat will last for a long, because this material is very good quality, and it's like approves itself, so it have the function of why it should be made of the polyester. Yeah, and this one look also was newly made. We collaborate also with Supima, which is also provided by the festival. This collaboration, they provided us 10 meters of their sustainable cotton. And and we printed this cotton here in Riga and created the full look, including the boots and accessories, as there also is a belt of the pants, which is all look made from this one material, which is sustainably sourced cotton. And yeah, as Supima also had all the presentation for us, so we know that this material is completely like sustainable. Yeah, and for the this one particular is Chloe look, we don't have the good picture yet, so that's why we add the sketch. But here also is mainly used the silk provided from Punta Seta and cotton velvet, so there is no polyesters, and all the small accessories like buttons and this hair bun is made from the fabric scrap leftovers as we provided to Atelier Aymeric, so they developed these accessories for our collection. And yes, this one look also we left as it was first, but only it's not seen in here, but we decided to change. There will be the silk blouse instead of the polyester turtleneck. And this one look, we unfortunately don't have a picture yet because it's not finished. This is the one with the collaboration with Chanel, with Atelier Lesage, and they are making really like amazing embroideries for the graphic material from Marta's paintings, which is like, you can see this. The idea was to add the texture to our graphics. For example, the sheep is made with this kind of curly yeah, and also this, yeah, so this one look, which also one we are really excited about to receive the fabric. Really would like to see how it looks in the finish when it will be finished. Yeah, and so to summarize all this sustainable aspects in general, like which I also want to for the future as for the brand, developing like more sourcing sustainable materials, really go through the provided all information and see where the materials come from, printing more locally in Europe, or if it's possible here in Latvia, manufacturing also here in Riga, and also use also for the future the zero waste practice and upcycling, as you see in this particular sustainable jacket. So this will be it.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
I have a question to ask. It's more like advice. Are you considering also speaking with your potential customer about care? So you spoke about polyester in a really articulate way, saying, you know, this coat is using polyester for its function. And I think it's really important. That's a really important key piece of information that designers can pass on to their customers. That means that, you know, it being a coat, it could be spot cleaned, it could be washed in, you know, rather than dry cleaning it or putting in the machine. I think it's an added touch, but because your collection is so, it's actually really, I really love the aesthetics of it. And I also love the fact that it's not immediate. You don't think this is, you know, it's not an upcycled collection per se at first glance. But that means that, in my opinion, that you might be, you know, you might not be seen as thorough as you are. So my suggestion is be as thorough as you are and include this information in a graphic way. You're playing with labels, you're playing with graphics. Each and every one of those graphics says something. Make your own so that you can then say what you are doing in exactly the same way as you are, like you are bringing information in, you know, in a graphic web, put it out and let people know how you work with the function of the materials, and let people know your story, and let them be a part of how they care for the clothes that you make.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. I'll do it.
Hi both. Yeah, really love the collection, and particularly actually the sustainable look. And I'm curious about the fact that you said that it's not designed to be worn. Do you see it more as a piece of fashion activism, and what would you do with it? Would it be on, I mean, I can totally see it on display in an exhibition, and it is very much a kind of statement of the times.
Maybe it also depends about the wearing. Actually, this upper part, it can be completely wearable. It's more about this fur coat. Yes, as you say, exactly. It's more like a statement. We wanted to like exaggerate this idea of the Soviet time fur coat and make it like even more bigger, even more like royal or something like this, to make most a little bit like a joke, not a joke, but still, yeah, it's a statement. But maybe in some case also it could be wearable. It depends.
I would totally wear it, but yeah.
I would go wear it in the house. I would snug myself around it. In fact, I would consider it essential day wear for winter.
Yeah, so in Latvia we also have like completely cold winters, so for our weather it's completely appropriate.
I'm totally ordering one.
But it's primarily as a piece of activism.
But of course it is, because like there is this aspect that if you make a statement and the statement is visible, then it sometimes can be heard better than if only it's like worked in, like in the piece. But we do kind of both things. We choose the sustainable solutions, but also we want to say it kind of louder, if you can say so.
And has this exercise deepened your the way that you will work going forward in terms of sustainability? Has it informed your practice?
Sure, actually, because as I said, I also worked before with some kind of this technique, but maybe I don't know why, but I never included in collection. So now I started to think actually that this is even something more special and something more important to also in the future make some kind of this piece, which is also conceptually sustainable and interesting to work with. And there are many different reasons why to continuing this practice. Yeah. So,
how long did it take you to patch the pieces together?
I did it for maybe, it was 2 days by that I just discovered all these pieces and put them together. And yesterday I sew all this like in the machine. So
I can to make it quicker. I'm familiar with, I mean, there are systems within that madness, ways to collect sizes and ways to put them one next to the other that then make the sewing. Basically, you can compartmentalize the way that you put them together and the way that you sew them. Maybe after, if you go into a proper collection in which you want to do that, we just have a quick lesson on I can shave off a few hours from the process for sure.
Okay.
I also wanted to say thank you. I mean, I'm sorry, I've realized I'm not on video. I think it's very thorough, the work that you've done from where you started, you know, in the material research and you know, all over. So I think it's really interesting to see how you are adapting without compromising, which is also, you know, very important. You've managed to stay completely you while injecting a good dose of solution thinking in this collection. So that's admirable. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's very good to hear from you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Last thing, please send us the presentation, the PDF that you shared on those emails that I put on the chat.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next? Menche?
Okay.
Sorry. Is he there?
Hi.
Hi.
Wait. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, here am I. I'm gonna share my screen.
Brilliant.
Share screen. Here. Oh, shoot. Wait a second.
Okay.
It's okay.
Hey, is it sharing?
Not yet.
Uh,
I'm sure it will.
wait a second.
I'm gonna make you co-host just in case you. That's gonna help.
Hey, how come I couldn't share?
What presentation? What format are you using? What? What is a PDF? It's a PowerPoint.
Oh, it's good.
We got it.
Yeah.
So this is the lineup that I'm working on. And this is the look for the sustainable look. And this look constitute with the layer top in this plastic back pants that for the top, I layer with multiple upcycling sweatshirts to create this sculptural look. And for the pants, this is from the dead stock of the nylon fabrics. Yeah. And for the whole collection, I kind of developed my own fabrics with daily material, for example, plastic and foil and paper, and I kind of like bound them with the natural basic fabrics, for example, lining and cotton, to evaluate, to kind of upgrade the material, to give it a little bit, to give a mundane fabrics with elevated textures to make it different than it's supposed to be. And also I kind of bring daily object into the collection, for example, wigs, and for this look is motorcycle coverage. And I'm trying to make this couture references with modern references to kind of to make all the archives with nowadays methods. And yeah, and also for the leather pants and the leather jacket, I collect them from school's leftover pieces to kind of like to use this leftover material to create pieces. Yeah. And I think pretty much it.
Okay. Manchi, I need to ask you a question. When you mentioned you use paper and you use foil.
Yeah.
How are you adapting the function of that material to the collection? I mean, are you putting it next to, say, denim or cotton? How I'm looking at this again in terms of wearability and use. So your collection has a very, I mean, it says exactly what it is. So it is a sustainable collection by the virtue of the fact that it is upcycled waste and found. But how are you translating that found element onto wearability? So if you're putting paper and foil next to another fabric, how are you dealing with your customer caring for those clothes after they've worn them? Am I gone?
No, you there.
My internet has jumped.
You mean
No, we can hear you
the
very well.
relationship between the material and wearability? Hello?
Mengche, you're a little jumping. I can't hear you. Did you hear? Did I formulate my question okay?
Yeah, your question was okay, Ursula. We mentioned, can you maybe, if you don't have any more slides to share, can you stop the share screen? Maybe that will help your line.
I would say the wearability.
Menche, can you stop the screen share? Maybe that's gonna help the line, because we hearing you very jumpy. We don't hear you very well at the moment.
Yeah, good. Can you, yeah. I said I stopped the sharing.
Thank you. So let's see if we can hear you now. Mencha, are you there?
Maybe Mencha should try leaving and coming back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
Hello?
we can.
oh, we
Perfect.
can hear you now. That's good.
Is it good
Yeah.
now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you come again, the question?
Yes, when you mentioned that you are using materials like paper and like foil, but using other materials to elevate, my question is, how do you use those materials with the other materials in terms of wearability? So if somebody is wearing a piece which is made of paper, but also fabric, how are you going to suggest they care for it? Have you thought about them maybe, have you thought about the functionality of the materials that you're using if somebody is wearing the clothes you're making?
Actually, I imagine the piece would like breaking over, would like gradually breaking off, and I think that's kind of the process the garment it is, that at the end the garment would break into pieces, almost like the garment is dying. That I think it's kind of like transformation of the garments, like
Okay.
to adapt to the wearing of the people, that with their movement and with the time that they're wearing it, to make the garments into another phases, I would say. And I think that's quite interesting to exactly using this material, that it will gradually become this results. Yeah.
Thanks.
So you see it as, sorry, just so do you see it as kind of auto-destructing on the wearer?
What? Come again?
So do you see it as kind of destroying itself as it's being worn?
Yeah, but
right
at the end, but it's fabric based, so it won't be that breaking off, like it won't be that that much damaged, but it will create this phases that it's kind of in between breaking off, but it's not breaking off.
Okay.
And the almost like the like someone trimmed on the garments, and like the effect on it, which the garment it's transforming by the people who wears.
Okay, yeah. Could you just talk us a bit more through the sustainable look?
Oh yeah.
And just where were the different materials sourced? Just talk us through a bit more.
I collect the garments from friends and donation to create the layer top. And
so are they what are the tops? Are they t-shirts, jerseys?
And knitwear.
Knitwear. Okay.
Yeah, and also there's a workwear at the back. And based on
so how many garments are there in the piece, in your piece? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the piece was differentiated by the collecting based garments. Yeah.
Okay, and the trousers?
And the trousers is the fabrics resources from the dead stock fabrics from school, donated by brands. Yeah. And it's making the effect of the evacuated plastic bag. Yeah.
And how do you what's the process? How do you how do you join those items of clothing together?
By hand stitching. Yeah, a lot of hand stitching and drape it, and it's mostly couture way to join them together.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Mhm.
And what happens to the offcuts and the waste from those pieces?
Which one?
So from the tops, so you've got 5 to 6
Yeah.
garments in the top. Are you cutting them? Are there offcuts from those garments?
Yeah.
And would you use those in the next piece of clothing?
You mean rest of the
waste?
cover?
Yeah.
I kept some of them, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them after.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you might give some thought to?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe try and use it?
Probably some accessories.
Okay.
Yeah, to also join them with some other material to adjust the texture of it. I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Again, please, if you could send us the presentation that you shared, if any other document that you might have, to the email address which are on the chat.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Minji.
Okay, so now it's Rakpong.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm just gonna share my screen.
Thank you.
Screen. So I have chosen this look as the sustainability look, and it's actually the first look that has been shown. So I'm just gonna talk through the little details of the pieces. So it's a look which comprises of a vest and a shorts. And the shorts, even though it seems really simple, the fabrication comes from quite a personal starting point. So I've been working with this weaving house since my first collection in like 2013. And it's this little community within Bangkok. And it's a Muslim community, and it's been there for like 200 years, and they've been doing fabrics. And I got in touch with this man right here. He's in his 70s and he owned this weaving house. So before there were like, oh my God, okay, so before there were like 20 weaving houses, but today now there's only 2. So I find that was quite sad in a way that it's now like diminishing. And the fact that I got in touch with this guy, he's in his 70s and he's willing to work with someone that's young, I suppose, like me, and come up with these ideas. And I've been working with him like for quite a long time. I would ask him to do like crazy, stupid things, and he was willing to try. So what I do with each of my collection, I try to have him do a fabric for me. And with this collection, I went to something quite really simple. And I found these vintage silk from the 60s of Jim Thompson. And it's just stripes and colors. And I wanted to do something with this very simple effect. So that's how, it became this conception of like stripes and colors and combination. And I made this short using a 4-ply silk, and it's woven by hand by him. And yeah, and at the end, the result is quite simple, but it has this very graphic touch which I believe is like my strong visual point of the collection. And then with the second piece, so this piece is kind of like the showpiece, and it's a mixture of different kinds of material. The highlight is this kind of bands that you see in military decorations. And so again, I found this lady in Bangkok, And she actually does for a living, like the decoration on military officers. And I reached out to her and she agreed to do them in my colorways and my graphic. So I sent her like, okay, the different designs that I want. And it's actually like a piece of cardboard and you threaded the cardboard into these graphic patterns. And in total, I think I made like 20 different variations of colors and designs. And after that, I wanted to combine something which is less precious, I would say. So I've been collecting a lot of like fabric scraps from previous collection, from this collection. And so in the same kind of idea, I bound it onto a piece of cardboard and then eventually bound it onto these kind of ribbons with this like graphic finishing on the edges. And then those were added onto this ropes, paracord rope vest. And you know, the result is something, a mix of something precious and something that was almost discarded away. And yeah, so that's the story of my sustainable look. And also I want to continue a bit with what I've been developing since our last meeting. So with the new pieces, you know, I kind of sat and was my screen showing?
It's stuck at your first look.
Okay, so now
If there is another look after the first look, then
now I'm just gonna talk.
Okay.
So after the meeting, I was kind of, you know, listing the kinds of, you know, people that I have worked with in the past. So I got to work with Jim Thompson already, which is a big company. I work with Nippon, who is a weaver that's based in Bangkok. So what's next with the new pieces that I'm making? I wanted to work with someone that is a smaller scale. So I wanted to use silk that was made within my region of my hometown. And I reached out through Facebook and I found this Facebook group. And it's a collection of different weavers. And silk is something quite personal to like Thai society because it's something that farmers do when they are waiting for the rice to grow. So, and you know, thanks to technology, you know, these farmers, you know, they can post to this group like, okay, I've woven this fabrics, who wants to buy it? So it's this kind of method that they've kind of adapted to technology to share what they make. And I got in touch with them. I messaged them, you know, they would send the fabrics to Bangkok to my friend, which handles my production. And from this method, you know, I've gathered around 4 houses. So I work with, so I basically bought fabrics from like these farmers and, you know, local weavers. And what I did next was, you know, I sent them to Paris and I got in touch with another supplier that's based in Lyon. And what they do is they do silk screening and they do this technique, which I was drawn to. So it's basically silk screening and you put glitter on it. So in my way, it's kind of like this journey of a fabric from somewhere really far away and it's being decorated here in France. And we worked on different kinds of stripes. And these are some of the samples. So the silk is from Thailand, and then it has been adorned with glitter in Lyon. And I think the story is kind of, you know, fun in a way. And yeah, and what I found interesting is that, you know, the story of how, you know, Thai farmers and weavers are adapting to technology and how amazing I'm based here in France and I can connect with them and then do something totally out of the ordinary. And yeah, and that's the story of what I've been doing so far. And I'm making like a few new pieces at the moment. And it's a mixture of these silks that I found, and, you know, some have not been, you know, glittered. And yeah, at the end, I hope to make something that's quite realistic in a way, because I think there's already like a big pool of producers that I'm able to get in touch with. And if this formula works, or you know, people like it, you know, there's obviously like a opportunity to really make this in something, you know, for a long-term kind of production, because, you know, with the thanks to Facebook, you know, you can really reach people, you know, direct. And I see this as like something that can really be done in the future.
Brilliant.
Thank
So
you.
I really love your story, your collection. I mean, you know, I can almost see it geographically as you kind of walk about and collect bits and have bits made. And so there's a couple of things I'm a little bit concerned, and the kind of transport situation of taking one piece over the next is at this point not ideal, but at the same time, I'm more worried about the glitter. And I feel that you need to step up a little bit in terms of looking for innovation as much as you look for memory. So I really love the way that you are concentrating on, you know, weavers that are becoming extinct, and, you know, finding the little old lady that makes the military, you know, all of that is amazing. But the glitter, that needs equal care. So, you know, you equal care for the past, equal care for the future. Glitter will have an impact on. So
I was concerned about the glitter as well, and since like the factory kind of have their own thing going on already, so I kind of look into other options like sustainable glitter, like less impactful kind of glitter. So I think like if, you know, this FX has really strong response from the public, or, you know, people want to buy it, of course, you know, I can incorporate like the sustainable glitter, or because like when I looked at the material itself, like microplastic, it's kind of again
I gave everybody the you know, the sustainable angle. I mean, there is at this point in time, there's sustainable glitter, sustainable sequins. I mean, maybe they're not 100% sustainable, but they would be better. I trust you completely. I know that you will find those solutions. Your collection is too, you know, it relies on thinking. So I know that you will think more, and you will find the right solutions for sure. But it's really, I really love the way that you are kind of, you know, fabricating clothes and a story as you go along, and it's very to your communities. I love that.
And the sourcing is fun. I really enjoy like the sourcing part, like messaging them, like, can you show me like how it looks in the lights? And, you know, they were very willing to sell their things, and that's quite fun.
I love that, the fact that you're creating a new community with the weavers that you found. I think it's really lovely. What was the quality of the silk like?
Well, actually, like now that I look closely, like for example, like the one that's made in Bangkok, like the yarn is slightly better because it's been processed in a better machine. But the ones that's been produced by like local farmers, like the yarn is a bit, you know, they would have these little coils, I would say. So, you know, within the material itself, it kind of reflects the state of their capabilities as well. So, but again, you know, I drive for the color. So as long as the color speaks to me, I buy.
I agree. I don't think in fact, if anything, the defects on the silk or the non-defects on the silk testify as to its provenance. So again, it's I think you're quite you know, you're very much a storyteller. So I think that you can bring all of this information in.
Yeah, I think that's something to celebrate, isn't it? The quality of the smaller weavers silk. Yeah, obviously agree with Ursula about the glitter. I mean, it looks beautiful and is very seductive and would make people want to buy it. But yeah, if there's an alternative to the micro plastic glitter, obviously that will be more beautiful. And I was wondering as well, are these ways of sourcing and making, does that apply to the rest of the collection?
Yes, so in terms of the majority of the collection, you know, it comes from the dead stock and leftover from Jim Thompson, like I mentioned from the last time. But with all the new pieces that I'm making right now, it's all these kind of fabrics that I source from viewers.
Wonderful, great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupam.
And again, sorry to say always the same stuff, but
Yes.
please, can you send
I will
us
send.
the presentation and everything else that might help us in looking at your product and collection and story.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now it's Sophia.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, let me share the screen. Just a second. Wait a second, I need to go. It's here. Okay. Yeah, can you all see?
Yeah.
And hear?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about my collections, same, but different, transformed last time. But because it's so in the core of the collection, I'm just going to go through the main parts of the structure. So here's the full collection as it is now. There will be some changes adding the Chloe look for year competition, but this is how I created it in full. So all the garments that you can see here, they are created with the same square modules. And so, yeah, they are square sized, which doesn't only follow the zero waste pattern cutting methods. So the full width of the fabric is cut in half. And that's how the square is created. But also, and like the most importantly, it follows the idea of continuous design. So because of the modules are the same, the identical shape of all the pattern pieces does not determine the function on the garment later on. The modules are attached together with the special button loop mechanism, but it does not require any sewing, so it can be reassembled quite easily without sewing. So the main agenda with the collection and with the concept is to address the shortcomings lives with the modular structure. And the transformable modular design enables the garment's needs and wants of the wearer, which is life can be lengthened. And I think also what is really, really important is that through this concept, reassemble countless times, the clothes also entail the promise of fashion novelty. And I guess for me, it's really important to kind of like have the wearers participate on the making of the garments, so that it can again kind of like the clothes can be more important, and the customers can actually be part of the design and the actual creation and the making, because it is quite simple. And which also like which is quite, I guess, important for the garment longevity is the emotional durability as well. And within the changing, I think that could be achieved with this concept. So here you can see the chosen look for the Mercedes-Benz Sustainability Award. And it's the first look of the collection, made out of pea silk organza and naturally dyed with leaf green. And here you can see a bit more detailed information of the garment, a bit of the like, yeah, the costing of the materials, but also the sewing time. So it is kind of like quite haute couture method of doing garments, but also I think what makes it maybe quite interesting, it's almost like technical or advanced technical things combined with haute couture method. And I think most importantly here you can see in the middle there are those squares that has been used for the garments. So there are 4 different type of squares serving slightly different functions or so, but they are all still the same size and can be attached together with the same mechanism, which is important. And here, yes, so there's 2 full squares on the top, 5 half squares, as I call them, in the middle, and then 10 ruffle squares on the hem. And also the back is made out of leather square, and it's byproduct reindeer leather, and then plywood that the bag is made out of. So what I then after the last session, I started to think about well, first of all, the material side of this. I mean, it's kind of like the concept was really important for me, and the system thinking from the get-go. But also, of course, you have to consider the materials. So here on the left side, I did some more natural dyeing. So, I mean, that has been quite a long part of my designing methods, and I absolutely love what you can achieve with natural dyes. And then on the right hand side, those are some progress pictures of me dyeing the green leaf green on the silk. But through these processes, I do recognize that it's really time consuming practice, and also it's quite hard to achieve even color on the fabric if that's what you want. And I think for me, I would want the color at least for now to be even. So I looked into with natural dyes, but I came across this wonderful company called Fiber Bio, which is a French company. I don't know if you can see, but they do lovely organic materials dyed with natural dyes. And this is just a one example that I found, but I was getting quite excited about it, because they are ready dyed and they have beautiful selection of colors that could maybe then work later on when hopefully upscaling this concept. Also, when it comes to materials, the 3D printing place that I've been producing the buttons, they are actually now developing this bio-based material. So it's cellulose-based material. I don't know too much about it just yet, but they wanted to let me know and wanted to kind of like let me be part of the process because they know my concept. So that's quite an exciting prospect for the future, to actually change the buttons into maybe made out of something a bit more well. And another concept that I have paid more attention after the first session was the size inclusivity of the clothes. So considering the fit and size related, one of the garment disposal, I think it's really important to think about the sizing. And here, when the garments can be fit to size and different body types, that can have many positive, sustainable perspectives. And for example, from the designer's point of view, I guess then no excess stock will be due to different sizing or the extra sizes. And I guess that applies to manufacturing as well. And of course, from the wearer's point of view, the garment can adjust throughout the life and throughout the life situations. So like I mentioned before, the concept was based on more like a systems thinking, and I think that was really important for me. Product service system, where the fashion novelty is achieved with less materialistic means. And what I mean by that is that, yes, the squares stays the same, but then it can be reconstructed into new shapes and silhouettes according to the needs of their wearer. So I guess compared to more appearing linear cycle, life cycle, this can definitely offer alternative approach towards more circular fashion economy. And here on the kind of like the low corner, left side corner, I just wanted to like visualize what could be done with the same 17 squares. So kind of like more or less all of the collection could be done with the same squares. So what it could look like. And this is another thing that I've been really thinking to, how I can visualize this to the future customers. So exactly doing like manuals, kind of like IKEA manuals for the customers, or then I can definitely, or the company can offer specialized services for the changing of the styles. So I can still do collections with the same squares. So be creative, be fun, but then using the same squares, people can either bring them to the designer, have them made into a new season style, or change them by themselves. And then I have to mention on a more kind of like practical level, I guess when it comes to modular transformable clothing, the maintenance could be easier or could be less water and electricity consuming. So if one part of the garment gets dirty, I guess that could only be washed, or at the same manner, if one part of the garment gets damaged, only that could be changed and the whole garment doesn't need to be changed. So resources could be saved through these like quite simple approaches. Okay, thank you.
Oh my God. This is so good. I mean, I have to tell you, I find it particularly brilliant because it's not my style, it's not my thing, and yet I want it so much. So well done. So first of all, Sophia, I've got an idea which I'd like to share with you. I think you need to make bridal. I think you need to make bridal, and you need to make a baby christening dress that comes out of the bridal dress. I mean, bridal, you resolve every single problem when it comes to dyeing, because it's going to be white or potentially off-white. And women are forever spending an enormous amount of money on bridal and then really worried about what to do with it after. Recently, there's been a trend of customizing old wedding dresses, and it's boring as hell. They just look boring to begin with and double boring after they've been customized. So I'd push for a bridal line immediately, and instructions on how to change from, a sort of a Lady Diana type bridal dress to a really slinky underneath. And then you add the baby christening gown, and you've got 2 generations covered with one piece. And I think you'd sell them straight away. I have no words to say. I think this collection is so cool. I really love what you're doing. And it's very satisfying to watch. And all of the idea that you can wash one square, the idea that you could do it yourself, but you could also have it done professionally by your company. I mean, it just works. It's really, really exciting. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I love that idea. Yeah, the christening idea especially, and then, or maybe wedding or christening, whatever comes first. But thank you. I love that idea.
A christening gown that turns into a mini wedding dress.
I love that idea. And it's just to reiterate what Ursula said, I mean, it's such a well thought out, incredibly well researched collection, and more than a collection, it's a system, it's a whole kind of way of dressing and making. I'm curious as to, so if I bought one of the dresses and say during lockdown I put on some weight, what would happen? Would I go back to you and say, hey, I need another 17 squares because I've doubled in size? And how would I actually, how would I put those squares together? I'm not clear on the process, the no-sew process. I don't quite understand how you've done that.
Okay, yeah, so actually, if you think about the square, so let's say on the bodies, they might be normally front bodies and then back bodies. They are both one squares, so 2 squares on the bodies. So that's all together like 150 centimeters wide. So obviously, I'm saying, these are one-size garments, but they are one size to the point of 150 centimeters. But with the gathering, you can actually gather it to fit. So at least on these garments, you don't even have to undo the buttons, because they almost work as an attachment. So it's the gathering that makes the garment to fit. So actually, no, you don't have to order a new dress or new squares. You just loosen the gathering a little bit, and you're good to go.
Okay, and if I wanted to shorten it, say if I wanted to change the length, can I unlink pieces?
Yeah, so because they go the lines goes vertically and horizontally. You could also obviously you can lift it by the 9 centimeters, which is within the lines, between the lines. But you can also shorten it 9 centimeters up to so that's why, yeah, you can shorten it. Obviously, it will take a little bit of time, but it is possible. And for example, also with the sleeves, you could take the sleeves off, or create fold the square in half and create a shorter sleeve with the same square, and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, and you would provide a manual on how to do it.
Yeah, I quite like the idea.
Yeah. Because also,
No,
I mean, there's the thought that it could be, you could do some as kits almost that were maybe a lower price, and I don't know if that's manageable, or if you'd need to be able to you know, have some kind of sewing or ability to put it together.
I think you could get to the kit for sure. Can I ask you a question related to production? So how long does it take to make one of the dresses? Say the one for our look.
I think I did put the time there. I think it was something like 65 hours to sew, and then on top of that, the kind of like assembling that together. So, I mean, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, kind of like non-stop sewing. So yeah, it is quite time consuming. So while I'm sewing, I'm thinking, how could I make this bit more faster, because it is really like I'm doing all the loops, and there isn't, at least at the moment, I haven't figured out a faster way of doing so. I guess one option for me would be to talk with weavers, like could this be achieved with so that it's weaved into the square straight away, rather than me sewing the loops, sewing the tapes, and so on.
Yeah, but I mean, I think again, it's, what can I say? It's very novel, and so you know, you might need to take time to develop that. What's interesting is that, you know, yeah, it's 2.5 weeks for a dress, but again, if you bracket it, if you frame it, if you market it really around the couture and the bridal and the forever, I think this is a very, very good start. You know, we're not talking about world domination via, you know, reproducible squares. We're talking a really amazing piece that has a lot of life and a lot of story. So it doesn't worry me. And I do believe that with your thinking, you'll absolutely find your simplification for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, just for me to understand, for everybody to understand. So far, prototyping is being entirely developed by you. You haven't yet engaged with potential third parties to sort of duplicate the skills behind the making and test with other potential sewers and other potential laboratories and so on. It's all been done by you.
All has been done by me for yeah, so far, yes. So yeah, I guess that would be the next step for me to really look into what are the options to manufacture this, maybe, or even parts of it. So, but yeah, so far I've done every loop of the collection.
Well done.
It's beautiful, but I also think, you know, I think it's going to be a really good move for you to start finding the type of worker that can do this dress. And you know, this, for instance, when Filippo and I were working with the Cooperativa Rinascere in Italy, this would have been the type of thing that workforce, those people would have been capable of doing. So again, I think the fact that you are as you are and that things take a long time, you can start finding the right people, that will only add to the story of your brand, the people with whom you sew.
Okay, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
So again, please send all presentation, PDF, images, everything that can support us to the email address shared in the chat. Thank you.
Sophia, also, could you share the fiber bio
Yes.
company that you mentioned? Maybe in the chat, if you wouldn't mind.
Share the name of the company?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you.
So thank you, Sophia. And now Venla.
Hello. I will be giving my video for this presentation because it was a bit of hassle last time. But yeah. can you see my screen? Not yet. Yeah, here. So
Yeah.
I will be going a bit more into the materials and tell about my design process for this wearables of toys collection that I have made for Festival of Hyères. And yeah, so about research bit. So this has been inspired by my own childhood and my own connection to like these toys. And I have been interested on the different techniques and methods, how collectible and antique teddy bears are made, and also how the usual soft toys are made, and not used being like using soft toys as reference. I have been looking into like what are like actual counterparts about like how are their body, and going to local museum to see animals and looking at pictures. So here's my lineup and list of materials. There is a lot of different materials in here, and I have been now concentrating to make this first look that is tiger, and I will be using a cotton plus fabric from Reda Velluti to make this, and it's full like cotton. And then there is brushed wool fabric from a local fashion brand. They're like surplus fabrics that I have been asking from them or searching from there. And then I have been using this teddy bear mohair fabric. It's similar as Dive that was mentioned before, but it's from other German manufacturer. And I will be telling a bit more about that in next slide. And then I have been using different yarns. This one is sadly a blended yarn. It's like really chunky buckle yarn with acrylic wool and polyamide in it. And then this one is more like a statement piece. Otherwise, these are pretty like wearable, except for like this big giraffe that needs two people to put it on, and then this headpiece might be a bit difficult on daily use, as you can't hear maybe that well underneath it. So this one has laminated foam sheet that has been bonded with welded single knit that I have manually knitted, and from wool yarn, Parufas wool yarn. And then there has been used cotton poplin and jersey. I decided to use the Puntosetas digitally printed cotton poplin for this dress on the hours look. And then I'll be using the Supimas cotton jersey for the panther look. And then there is this surplus flannel that is from same place as the surplus fabric on the that brown bear look. It's from a local eco design company that collects deadstock fabrics from local brands. And then here is the same wool yarn used as in giraffe in this full fashion knit the dress, and same kind of dress is underneath the teddy bear coat. like this, and then this has been made with same wool yarn. And then the dress underneath giraffe is woven with local jacquard weaving machine using cotton yarn, or it had like cotton yarn and then this mohair blend with long mohair. And I have got to create like the impression for the soft toys, like so that they look cute and so that you can sympathize with them more easily, and so that they won't look too crazy or scary. I have made glass eyes for almost every of these. There are few smaller eyes that I haven't made, but these all big eyes have been made by me from small glass pieces. And then they have been used cotton embroidery thread. These take a lot of time to make, or like quit a lot, because there is so much like hand making and embroidering and that. And then maybe the stuffing has been the most difficult part, and I have been using mostly just polyester stuffing because it's like most lightweight and the softest. But I have on some parts that can be more softer. I have used the recycled bed models, like stuffing made from them. And yeah, here's my lineup. And the brown bear look is the one I have chosen for the Mercedes-Benz look. And it has that, or this teddy bear mohair fabric by Helmbold. It's German factory located in Miran, Germany. And I asked more about their fabric from them after the first meeting. And yeah, they use yarn or like this material from different breeding areas, but they say that they would be initiated by mohair farmers and spinning mills to ensure that animal welfare. So then they mix this material to get better quality out of it. And production after yarn is all in-house at Germany, and they use only German or European dyes and chemicals, and they don't use chemical finishing agents or warp sizing, and because it's mohair fabric, the dye waste isn't like really big, because mohair takes up to 96% of dye when dyeing. And they also told about like the electricity of how they get it, still like 30%, but they will be expanding it to 80% in coming year, so that they will get the electricity from solar system. And so other sustainability aspect that I have been thinking about this collection, and while producing it or designing it, and like now during summer, but yeah, these all of the knits expect for like the giraffe that's a bit different from normal knitwear, are fully fashion knitted, so there isn't that much waste of yarn and fabric. And then they are knitted by hand or with industrial or manual knitting machine. And then I have been using local surplus from local brands. And then, of course, because these are so unique and like they have their own feeling, the details creates the story for each look and garment that makes the emotional durability for each garment. And I have been thinking about making accessories from leftover fabrics. I do have few berets there, but maybe adding the headbands and bags or like shoulder bags that can be changed to clutch bags. Yeah, this was end of the presentation. I kept it pretty short this time. Do you have any questions?
Venna, thank you very much. I don't know who wants to start, Ursula or Tamsin?
Sorry, I was on mute. Super exciting, and I'm glad that Eddie Bear is the one that made the look. It's my favorite. Then I really love how you've gone through, the description of all of the materials that you've used, and I think that that's really, really valid. And really interesting and really important that you add. Again, this is not one of those collections that you immediately think sustainable. And I can see from what you're doing that there's still some more work to be done in terms of your material, but I know that that will happen. I wanted you to go and look at a designer called Gabriele Skukas, and I'll have to put, let me just see if I can.
Yeah, can you put it on chat? So
yeah, I'm gonna put it on chat, just because she, okay. She's mostly knitwear. She does always the same type of knit, but she knits these little mice and little animals that go around her clothes. It made me think of the detail of those two little seals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I've researched also the Angora production in South Africa. It's you know, and it seems to be really ethical, and you know, from what I've found at the sustainable angle.
At
but
this point,
I love this collection. I find it's so sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Venla. It's quite an ambitious thing to include a kind of almost life-size giraffe in a collection. And I love the idea that you said about maybe some accessories at the end. And I mean, the thought of headbands, what you could do with headbands is really exciting. Because there's no end of ears and things that could be added to headbands. My query was, I thought, it's well done on the rigor that you've approached your material research. On the stuffing, when you're using polyester stuffing, is that what you've used for the brown bear piece as well?
There is part of the polyester stuffing, but brown bear is one of the softest one of these, so I have been using that. There are more stuffing from recycled pet bottles, but it's difficult to use only that pet bottle stuffing because it's too soft. Or but I will think. I have been thinking now that I I'm creating that more cotton look with cotton plus fabric. It kind of sad to add the polyester inside of it, but they isn't. I haven't found that like easily sourced cotton plus or stuffing material. If there would be solution for that.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be solutions from, you know, kind of post-consumer waste, you know, kind of felted materials. I'm sure there must be other materials. It just seems such a shame because it's so, you know, it's such a great piece in every other way. Let it down with the stuffing, even if it's, yeah, you know, recycled PET, which is a start. But but apart from that, yeah, it's really wonderful and makes us smile at a time when we need to be smiling.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe taking care of the garment itself will be also one difficult point, and I should be having so that customers could give their garment to me to take care of it, maybe change the stuffing inside and have it somehow clean it and taken care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that's
So,
it. Is that everyone?
I think we are at the end of the session. We left a few minutes at the end just in case any one of you would like to add anything after the overall conversation. If there is anything you want to ask, I mean, just for the sake of making sure that we could have a bit of time to follow up if that was needed. So this is both for the mentors, for Tamsin and Rosa, but also for all designers. If there is something else that you want to discuss today, we got another 10 minutes. Otherwise, we can end the conversation here and now. And that's it. So also, Tamsin, do you have any further questions for the designers?
Not from me, thank you. Just a big thank you for being here today and the work you've done.
I suppose I would just ask if anybody has anything that they feel as though we could have gone into more detail with on the resources, or if there's anything that you feel like you know, we could add to those resources. We'd love to hear from you about that. I mean, you don't have to say now, but just yeah, going forward, we'd love your feedback on that. But nothing else.
Really, any positive or even negative comment on what has been done so far and how we delivered and the resource and everything, it's very much appreciated. So if you got it, please use this time now or email us if you want it to be private, whatever. But yes, if you have any comment.
No?
I take it as a no. So
yeah. Perfect. Okay.
I'm sure you've all got lots to do.
So Tamsin, Nursa, shall we stay? Do you mind staying on the line 5 minutes after? And so yes, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Carla Otto, to Mariella. Thank you to Mercedes for putting this beautiful group of designers together and for allowing us to work with them. It's been really exciting, and I'm not saying this for because it needs to be said. It is really excited to see what you've been doing and how you've been progressing. We have another session tomorrow, and so good luck to all for the rest of your work. Also, Tamsin, you want to add a final bye-bye? Otherwise, we're ready to go.
Yeah, just congratulations and keep on going and keep on using what you've learned during these sessions in the rest of your work going forward. Yeah, that's just that to me is the prize in all of this. So yeah.
Thank you everyone so much. That was really brilliant to see all of your presentations. And we're really looking forward to seeing you in Hyères.
Perfect. Okay, so
good luck, everyone.
Good luck, everyone. We will speak soon. Ursula Tamsin, please stay on the line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mariella.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Bye.